Hey everyone, Willie Miranda with the Ultimate Real Estate Success Blueprint, and today I have a very special guest with us, Amanda Hart.
Hi everyone.
And we're going to talk about some great things that are going on in Amanda's business, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that Amanda's been an agent now for about 7 years now, Amanda, is that correct?
Yep.
And her volume this year, I mean, she's in position to have her best year ever. She already has 28 closed sales as of September 1st this year. She has 12 buy side, 16 lists. She's got 10 million already closed. She's got 3.2 million pending and 2 million active in listings. So you've been busy, and not only have you been busy with that, but you also had a new addition here to your life.
Yes, I did.
Right?
Yep.
So Amanda, let's talk about really just a little background, like how you even got into business. I know I said 7 years being in the business, but how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, so it always was like something I was interested in doing. I had family that was in the business. They actually had their own brokerage, and I had one summer, I was still in college, that I didn't have summer classes for once, so I figured, hey, why not, get my real estate license. So I did the 2 weeks at Manfred. I got my license, and then I kind of started working part-time. While I finished school, and I ended up really loving it. So when I graduated, I just said, hey, let's try it full time. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, I have my degree. I can find a career. I was in business and finance, so there's plenty of options, but I ended up doing really well, and I loved it, so I just haven't looked back.
So you had that entrepreneur spirit inside you, right?
Yes. Yep.
9 to 5 wasn't going to work for you?
No, I did not want to sit at an office desk from 9 to 5. I like to be out. I like to meet different people. I love in real estate, it's really something new every day. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to me. Just I don't know, the idea of just sitting somewhere and doing the same task every day would probably drive me crazy.
Well, as a newer agent, especially being young in the business like that, there are a lot of agents that struggle a little bit with getting their career going and getting things going. I mean, what would you say, thinking back now to that, what made the difference for you to get a strong start or a fast start? Yeah,
so when I started, I think I was 19 or 20, and obviously it's hard, meeting with new clients who are older than me to trust a young girl with their biggest investment. Mm-hmm. But the thing for me is obviously do all the trainings that you can, go on as many appointments as you can, go face to face, whether it's open house, shadowing showings, shadowing listing appointments. You just need to get that experience in as much as you can, because you can't really lie when you're talking to a client and they know that you know what you're talking about. That really impresses them. And obviously, the more sales that you do, that always helps too. It's this year I've sold 10 million. Someone can't say I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
So you really just have to work hard. You have to get in front of as many people as you can. And any lead that you get, just follow up with them as much as you can until they tell you not to anymore. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not answering, you're still probably going to be in the back of their head when they think, okay, maybe if I do buy or sell one day, maybe I'll reach out to them. So that's my best advice, is just you have to keep working, because it's really easy in this industry when you're not getting paid, a weekly check, to just want to give up.
Yeah, we always talk about that, where there's no ceiling to what you can make, but there's no floor either, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you do the activities that obviously will give you the results. So in your business, I know you do now that you've been in it 7 years. If you think back in the beginning, a lot of people didn't know you were doing real estate, right? So they didn't really know who you were.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of agents depend on online leads and company type generated leads.
Yep.
But as time goes on and you build your business, now 7 years in, what would you say your percentage of repeat and referral business is your business versus, say, online leads?
Honestly, I would say probably 80-85%. I think last year when I looked at everything, maybe 2 or 3 were online leads and the rest were referrals. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if I looked at this year, I'd probably say that's pretty spot on too.
Okay, and that's pretty normal, right? When you first come into business, no one knows who you are, so you got to build that business.
Yep.
And then I always tell people, once you get to that 3 to 5 year mark, things start getting fun, right? You start getting that repeat and referral business. People start calling you again. They start referring you to friends and family and those type of things. But only if you do a good job.
Of course.
Right, and you do a great job with them, so obviously they do, and they reach back out to you. So I did a video today about lead generation pillars, going back to the basics. And your database is one thing we talked about. In the beginning, online leads help you. Yep. And then there's people that do offline marketing, and then they do online marketing, different ways of buying leads there. But what would you say your top 3, if you had to say, hey, these are my top 3 lead generation pillars, what would they be?
Definitely your database, whether, it includes like your online leads, your sphere, your past clients, or any clients that you've, maybe talked to and were showing houses but stopped looking. That's huge because, like I said, my repeat and referral business right now is like 80-85%. And I wouldn't have that if I didn't stay in contact with my past leads or, my family and friends. I didn't let them know like, hey, if you have anyone looking to buy or sell, contact me. And just kind of get in touch with them, like with weekly emails, sending like a holiday card once a year, like even the little things that you don't think are going to do anything definitely help. And then the other thing, honestly, for me has been huge is social media. Because even when you're not busy, people think you are busy. And every time, like, I can't go to one like family party, even regular party, or like see someone out in person that doesn't say, hey, I see you're so busy in real estate. Like, it's probably a conversation I have like a million times a week, and everyone asks how's the market. But it does mean, obviously, they know I'm in real estate and they see I'm doing well. And you're just going to be top of mind. And the other one too, I like doing direct mail, and definitely, like, if you can, it's kind of hard, but doing handwritten cards, even to like, if I have a listing, I'll try to do handwritten cards to neighbors. I've gotten calls from that as well, just because I think it goes the extra mile. People see that you're taking the time instead of sending like, just a direct standard postcard. But even just those postcards, again, if you hit a neighborhood and try to farm it, that always helps too. You can't stop at the first mail. You have to keep doing it.
Yeah, we tell people if you're not going to commit to at least 12 months of doing mail, don't even start, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be consistent. And if you're not doing that, you're the secret agent. No one wants to be the secret agent in real estate.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get your name out there. But one of the things that you said with, really just people, whether you're busy or not busy, the perception is that you are busy.
Yes.
And it's really evidence of success. Like, people want to do business with other agents that are successul, right? If you're not on social media and you're not putting mailers out and you're not expressing the successes that you're having, then people just kind of like, there's 4,000 realtors to pick from, right?
Yeah,
why pick you?
Exactly.
So one of the big things, you mentioned database being so important to you. A lot of agents ask, what's the best database to buy? What's the best, CRM to buy? What are you currently using now, and how do you use it?
Yeah, so I'm using Constant Contact for my weekly emails, and I think that's a really good way for me to touch base with my clients. And like I said, my sphere as well. They always say like the best database is the one that you're going to use. So I can't say like, this is the best one to use. It just works well for me. Like I said, the weekly email is just a nice way to stay in touch with everyone. And for me, I can sit down and do it and not thinking about like, doing random drip campaigns that they might not look at or bypass. I do use like the Miranda one too. I put all my clients in that. But I think for me right now, just the weekly email is big, just with like how busy I have been. And like I said, to sit down, just do one weekly email, give an update on my life in the market. And I've had a lot of positive feedback from that.
Yeah, because you mix it up a little bit, right? Tell what the content and what you try to focus on in those emails.
Yeah, so in the emails, I always try to include like a new listing of the week, whether it's my listing or like a colleague's listing. I just try to say, showcase that one that I think is interesting. I also showcase all the new listings, like up to 250, 250 to 500, and 500 and up. I do Albany, Rensselaer, and Schenectady County, just because that's kind of like my hub. Yeah. And most of the people that I'm sending to around there. And then I also will give like a restaurant review I try to do, just to like, okay, I tried this restaurant this week. These are the things that I liked. And then, a little life update as well. And I think that's pretty much it. Or I also do like a mortgage week update too.
Yeah, like current interest rates or something like that.
Yep, that's what I do right now. And I've had good positive feedback. I think people just they like opening it. I think most of the times people just like seeing what you're up to, which I think my Facebook is very good with mix with business and personal, because I always have a lot of positive feedback from that. People like they're nosy. They like to know what you're doing.
Right. And you bring up a good point, because a lot of people, when they say newsletters, they think they could just go buy it right online or just get a boilerplate one. But people, and that's why reality TV is so popular now, because people want to know about other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
And for a while there, some people, and I've talked to different people, and they're like, my life is boring. No one wants to see this. And then they put out you have the dogs before the baby. You used to put the dogs out, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden your engagement would blow up over the dogs, right, and posting them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? That people tend to hit more on the personal stuff than on the business stuff?
Because they can relate to it.
Right.
I think as an agent, if I see another agent post that they just sold like $1 million listing, I'm like, wow, I want to be there. But like for just a random like Joe Smo, they're like, okay, that's cool, but they're not doing real estate every day, so they might not think it's as cool. Versus like, I'm posting my 2 dogs or my daughter, like, they most likely have been there, so they can relate to it and appreciate that.
Awesome. People do business with who know, like, and trust, right? We always say it. All right, so social media, that's one of the big things that you talked about, and a strategy behind that. You and I have had one-on-one coaching calls too on that as to what's the best strategy. And it's just really being consistent, right? And getting it out there every day. But the one thing that you and I both agree on, that when you do a video, right, and you do videos, that gets the highest engagement.
Oh, definitely does.
Why do you think that is?
Just because people are going to sit down and watch a video versus like reading a whole paragraph, in my opinion, more. And versus that's what I do. I mean, now TikTok's so big, like, because you're scrolling, watching video. It's not everyone's going to be sitting on like Facebook reading millions of paragraphs about your life or like a listing or anything. That's my viewpoint on it. And obviously, I think it does make an impact.
Yeah,
when you
definitely.
see the engagement.
It's proven. It's proven that the videos are going to do much, much better. So, and we talked about your beautiful daughter that you just had here not too long ago now. How many months has that been now?
3.5.
3.5 months, right? So how are you having your best year? You have a 3.5-month-old baby.
Yep.
How are you balancing both work and business, or work in life with everything that's going on?
It's definitely tough. I mean, like, days that I'm at like working from home without help with a sitter, you're not really working from home. It's at least she's 3.5 months right now, so she kind of dictates my day. So some days I don't have time for anything. Some days I have time to do whatever I want. But I do have someone that comes watch her 3 days a week, and like, I think for me it's helping me manage my time more efficiently now, because I'm like, okay, well, I have these hours of these days to actually sit down and get my work done, versus before it was a lot easier to push something to the next day, because I'm like, I have a free schedule. I don't have appointments this day. Like, I have some time tomorrow, so I could just like push it off. Versus now it's like, okay, I'm paying someone to be here. I'm going to make my time worth it. So I think that's honestly helped improve my time management, because being an agent, like your own boss, it can get messy. And it's still like to this day I have trouble like managing it. But I think that's just something when you're your own boss, and if you schedule a day for prospecting and then a couple of like important appointments come up, you're obviously going to push that to the side because you don't want to say no to money, but then you forget to do the prospecting. So it's just always a learning cycle. But like I said, I think now that I have more value for my time, and the days I have off with her, I want to kind of like appreciate and spend with her, and then the times I have someone watching her, I can really focus on growing my business and doing the appointments that I need to do.
You're doing a great job. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you just proved that you can have a great business and you can have a great family life as well, and have the balance there. And actually now you're probably even more focused now, right? Because you're like, how did I do this before?
I know.
Right?
I know. So I'm like, all the free time that you have before kid, appreciate it now. If you don't have kids yet, that's all I can say.
All right. So we talked about on here a little bit with today's buyer and sellers, right? The market right now is different. Different parts of the country, you hear on the local news, not local news, but the national news, that the real estate market is the worst ever. Sales are down. But here in the Capital District, it's been pretty good, right? So what are you seeing in the Capital District? Let's just stay local on both the seller and the buyer. And we'll start with the seller side first. What are you seeing there?
I think this kind of goes for any market, but especially now, as long as you price the home right, it's going to sell quick. It's just you just have to strategize, but as long as it's priced right, I'm still seeing homes sell with it like over the weekend or within the week. I'm still in multiple offer situations, so to me that says it's still a seller's market. Of course, you come across sellers who do want to price a little bit higher, which is fine, but the time of the market kind of indicates if they're overvalued or not. And sometimes on the buyer side, kind of jumping ahead to that, but I always tell my buyers, like, hey, if a seller overprices and they sit on the market longer, like, don't be scared to look at the home, because it's a good opportunity for you to negotiate them down and get a home that's not going to be into multiple offers for once.
That's smart, because so many agents, or I shouldn't say agents, buyers, will say, I'm waiting to see if that reduces in price. It's like, don't wait.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as it goes down, then 10 other buyers are going to want to inquire about it, right? So to your point, if they see something they like, just put an offer in.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. The worst thing that can happen, that I always tell people, is they just say no. But, you never know until you try.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of speculation this year that we're going to lose a lot of real estate agents. They're getting out of the business for one reason or another. A lot of it was because I think a lot of them got into when COVID happened. There was just all these big sales, and but it does take effort, right? Like real estate is not hard, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And agents, I think, realize that now. And really, the agents like yourself and other top agents that are out there know what it takes. You know, they have to put that time and effort into their business. If you were to give advice to, say, a newer agent coming into the business right now, is there any one or two, type of strategy that you'd really say focus on these two things first when getting your business going?
Yeah. So kind of going back to what we said in the beginning, but what I really would focus on first is just getting out in front of people as much as possible. Like when I first started, I pretty much would do 1 or 2 open houses every weekend. I would take every online lead, even, the low $40,000 ones. Like I didn't discriminate. I still will take them now, basically. But like I would take anything I could, because once you get into the business, like you have to get thick skin, and like sometimes you'll work with the buyer for a couple months and all of a sudden they stop looking or they ghost you. So you can't expect every single lead to close. So I think you have to take as much business as you can handle and just keep working them. Like I said, get in the face. Had several clients that I met at open houses. I've even had sellers at open houses because it's their neighbor's house and they're just being curious and want to see what the process would be to list. So that's my first advice. And the second is just don't give up, because I think like the first 2 years are definitely the hardest, especially the first year. And if you're used to like a job where you're getting a weekly paycheck, it's not going to be easy. I think the benefit for me being in school, I didn't really have that yet, like a salary. So like I didn't know what to expect, but if you expect that, I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is just working and not getting paid right away. But like if you do keep working hard, it will pay off 100%. You can't give up. I think you have to at least give it 2 years.
Yeah, and I like what you said about take every lead. Like, don't be cherry picking. Like, I only work with $200,000 buyers or more.
As a new agent, you cannot do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And OpCity, I know that's a realtor.com lead. Some people kind of, phase that down because it's outside of their area or whatever. But take those leads. It's all about relationships, right? Exactly. And that's what you've proven, is that I don't care what the lead is, it's building that relationship. Yeah. Was there any stories that came to mind that when you think about leads that you took on early on that maybe were a little bit lower but then ended up being either bigger or they referred you to other people? I can't think of like a specific one on the top of my head, because I worked with a lot of like online leads when I first started, but I can say there were online ones that like I would continue to follow up with that like would never answer me. And then I remember like this one couple I stopped doing my follow-ups with. I think it was over a year I was following up, and I'm like, they're not looking. And then literally a year later they called me and were looking, and they were kind of like out in different areas. I think we ended up out in like the Buskirk area, but I was showing them homes almost like close to Cooperstown, like anywhere. Wow. That's just, that's, I was driving far, which that's another thing. It's like, you have to be used to driving if you're an agent. But I just said, like, when that happened, that kind of proved to me, and I think that was like my 3rd year, like, wow, like the following up actually really works. Like they actually were thinking of me, even though they weren't responding, they were seeing it. So I'm like, okay, that was like a relieving thing, because it's easy to think, oh, it's not worth it, it's a waste of time when they're not responding. Right. So that's like something I always think of. And just like now with all my repeat and referral business, all the business that I did to start, I think also just proves that, you want to stay in front of their face. You obviously want to do a good job, because if you don't, they're not going to refer you. But just making those good relationships. Yeah, and staying with them after the sale too, not just dropping them. Yeah, yeah. And there's a difference, right? We call it transactional agent versus a career agent, and obviously you've taken that relationship career agent path where you're really trying to build it up. So yeah, this has been excellent. I mean, you've done a great job in your business up to date, and I know you're going to even do even bigger things as time goes on. Yep. But there are going to be some agents out there, or maybe some buyers or sellers that say, you know what, she said a lot of things that I really like. Yeah. And I love to work with her. Yeah. What are some ways that, or maybe one way that someone can get a hold of you to work with you? Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is to call or text me. My cell phone's 518-366-6974. You can always email too, but like the quickest way for me to respond, especially because most of the time as an agent, you're out on the road, call or text, and then I usually get back to people the same day. If not, it's within a day, but most of the time it's the same day. What's the number again? 518-366-6974. There you go. All right, well, there you have it. Thank you very much, Amanda. Appreciate your time. And for anyone that's looking for a great agent, Amanda's the person to call.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.